Episode 256. Komore's been waiting to regale the others about her epic battle that lasted just under 2 minutes with Titan, but it doesn't seem like anyone's in the mood for that. After all, Kabu's been the victim of a summoning. Maybe Komori hasn't put 2 and 2 together yet. You're back. Gods, what a relief. Ah, there she is. Did I not tell you she would return safe and sound? The deed is done, then. Titan is no more. We kicked his ass. Good. There has been enough tragedy this day. He has been like that since he regained consciousness. We believe he can hear us, but he has made no attempt to respond. He is almost certainly still in shock, but we cannot discount the possibility that he succumbed to the Primal's influence. Should that prove to be the case, he must be put to death, like any other thrall, such as the Alliance's policy, yes? You have the right of it. But we must not rush to conclusions. After all, we once feared that Isao's followers were beyond reason, and many have since laid down their arms and accepted Ishgard's peace. Right. The weird case that is Lady Iceheart, Shiva, still a primal, but a primal inside a person, and I guess her followers weren't actually thralls the same way these guys become thralls. We can but watch, wait, and pray. I know what happened. Gods help me, I was there. But the thought that we might have to... 7 hells, he's just a child. There is not to be gained from dwelling on an eventuality over which we have no control, much less one which may never even come to pass. No control, huh? Let us tend to more immediate matters, informing Commander Boyden of Titan's demise, for example. You may be certain that he will be glad of the news. Would you be so kind as to break it to him? Maybe we don't break the news about Gabu to the guy. I mean, we're in control of that at least, right? I expect the commander would enjoy hearing the tale of Titan's defeat from the woman responsible, don't you? Are you a sight for sore eyes? When the others came back without you, I feared the worst. But they said you had matters well in hand. Yeah, we soloed him. It's easy when you're unsynced. All settled then, is it? I'm glad to hear. But not half as glad as my men'll be, believe you me. Regardless of whether or not he was summoned properly, Primal's a Primal. And there ain't a soul in the Maelstrom that hasn't lost a friend or one. Don't get me wrong, like. We were all prepared to do our part. But we weren't so naive as to think we'd live to tell the tale. Thankfully, of course, it didn't come to that. Which, my friend, sounds to me like a cause for celebration. Now, I know you have a lot of places to be, but why not stay the night? We'd be honored to raise a glass to the triumphant return of Titan's Bane. I don't think Komori's in the mood after the news about Gabu. Or is she? Is this cutscene implying we're staying? I guess we are. Maybe she wants to raise her own spirits.
Who goes there? Oh, it's you. Forgive me for straying from the camp. He hasn't been feeling too welcome, to say the least. I thought a change of scenery might do him good. But, alas. It's so quiet out here. The stars spread out before us, beckoning across time and space. Dawn may banish even the darkest night. How bitterly beautiful, those words. I should be stronger for all my experiences, yet my heart aches more than ever. I never understood why Grandfather gave his life that day. I thought that if I came here, I would find the answers I needed. But when I finally laid eyes on the land he sacrificed everything to save, saw firsthand the bickering, the pettiness, I was disappointed. I was angry. I could not fathom how these people were more deserving of his love than his family, than me.
This is actually really interesting, because it's still building off of Alice's whole character from A Realm Reborn, but the style of writing feels different. Like it's more focused on her and how she feels about it, while still bringing to light the whole reason why she left in the first place, why she parted ways with Alphinaud, all of the bickering and whatever between the three city-states. It has a backwards effect. It kind of retroactively makes all the writing in A Realm Reborn better.
But when Grandfather revealed the whole truth of the calamity to us, I finally understood. And I resolved there and then to continue his legacy in my own way.
And this would also be changed dialogue because we did Bahamut's quest, which actually makes this scene a lot better since it's part of her resolve.
My travels have been enlightening, but I cannot say that I have enjoyed them. I have lost count of the many petty crises that I was helpless to resolve and of the people whose actions I could not understand. There were others, of course. Good people. People with whom I felt a kinship, whose lives I could not save. I found myself asking what it was all for. Why try if I was doomed to fail in the end? But then I recalled Grandfather's words to my father, years ago before he left Charlayan behind forever. To ignore the plight of those one might conceivably save is not wisdom, it is indolence. We must all protect that which we hold most dear in the manner of our own choosing.
Very verbose, but that first line is something that a lot of people can probably recite by heart, right?
We have to try, do we not? Of course, it's one thing to try and another to do. There were times while I was tracking the warriors of darkness when I faltered, when I was afraid. But then I thought of my brother, of Urianger, of you. Oh, pray forgive me. This conversation has been rather one-sided, hasn't it? Mayhap you could recount some of your adventures in Ishgard.
We're used to it, but I guess we can tell you about that time we did some chores for the Mughals. I guess we can't actually. I didn't realize this would be multiple choice. Traveled far and wide with 2 companions, a Stinian and a Sail. Under some rather unique circumstances, I had the pleasure to fight alongside Sir Aymeric. When Alphinaud and I came at last to the Dravanian hinterlands. Does she want to hear about Alphinaud? It might be nice to talk about a Stinian and a Sail. But is this about... Yeah. Maybe it's about the time he gathered some firewood and built a campsite. Was that the Dravanian hinterlands? No, wait. That was the Forelands. Hinterlands would have been... Well, what did they do there?
We had no clear memories of our life in the hinterlands, having returned to the motherland as infants. Nevertheless, I am quite familiar with Master Matoya, as is every Sharlayan. I should like to speak with her someday.
Alright, so it was about that.
'Twould not surprise me if Alphino's recent maturation was at least somewhat due to her sage guidance. I would never tell him this, of course, but there have been moments when I've caught myself thinking of him as an elder brother.
I'm also curious to see what she would have to say about Estinian and Assail. She'd probably say something similar, since maybe because Estinian would be sort of like a big brother figure to Alphinaud and be a cause for his recent maturation, or something like that.
The hopes and dreams of so many rest on your shoulders, Warrior of Light. As long as the sun rises, we can but carry on, for the sake of those we hold dear.
That was actually pretty good timing with the rise in the music. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't, just based on how fast you scroll through the dialogue. And this guy.
To what end dost thou cling to the tainted gifts of the Mother?
Every tool has its purpose. Even this. Well, what is it?
The seeds sown in Vilbrand have been plucked from the earth and left to wither.
Very prosaic, this guy. Poetic, whatever.
Alas, Titan's demise sufficed not to drive the kobolds to deepest desperation.
What did the man in white have to say?
That we are to proceed as he did first set forth.
Well, that's easy for him to say. It's not his bloody world on the brink of destruction, is it?
Be thou well reminded that with an end to Ishgard's unrest, naught now remaineth to preoccupy the Scions' thoughts, and thus may they devote their every energy to thwarting thee and thine. I foresee only greater difficulties ahead.
Foresee? Are you sure you don't welcome them? I'm starting to think you might hold a candle for your old friends after all.
Old friends.
Pray do not mistake mine intent. I but look upon the path which lieth before us with due trepidation. Shouldst thou be of like mind, pray consider then another course. For the power to invoke the ardour belongeth not unto the Ascians alone. With thine own hand strike down thine enemy, the so-called hero who would see thy home lost to light. Do but this, and thou wouldst at a single stroke disrupt the all-too delicate balance of this realm, plunging her straightways into chaos.
You do realize what you're suggesting, yes?
To ignore the plight of those one might conceivably save is not wisdom, it is indolence. The words of my teacher, and a creed I hold close to my heart.
We heard those words just a minute ago.
Very well. Draw her out. We'll make it quick.
It shall be done. What good a creed one cannot uphold? What hurts soothed? What lives saved? Oh, hapless fool, what hast thou wrought by thine own hands? Minfilia, my friends, I shall not now beg your forgiveness. Full deeply though it paineth me to walk it, I shall not stray from my chosen path. As Moonbreeder remains steadfast, so too shall I.
Who is the mysterious masked man? He seems to know everyone. What ho, Komoi? I trust you had a good night's rest. I was but this moment speaking with Dankrid and Ishtola via Link Pearl. They had some interesting news to share. Apparently, during the course of their respective investigations, both came across crates which had once borne Ishgardian seals. It would seem that someone in the capital has been very busy indeed. Accordingly, the Temple Knights have launched a full-scale investigation. Sir Aymeric believes that it is only a matter of time before the culprits are found, but we shall have to wait and see. In the meantime, it seems only prudent to look into the recent activities of the other tribes, in case they too are flush with Ishgardian crystals. And with that in mind, I suggest we pay Urianger another visit, Wait, where is Alice? She was here but a moment ago. Where's Gabu? Would you be so kind as to look for my sister? She's doubtless somewhere in this camp, but, well, I'm sure you will find her. Wouldn't be over here, I guess. Maybe hanging out on that one ledge we saw before? The ring doesn't seem to extend that far. Ah, right, there they are. I actually remember a conversation happening over here. Ah, let me guess. It's time to leave, isn't it? My apologies for disappearing again. If it is any consolation, I've already packed my things. How is he? Brother, Commander Lloyden, something tells me you are not solely here out of concern for his welfare. But to answer your question, there has been no change. He will not speak or eat. I'm not even sure if he slept. If he did, he seems none the better for it. He just shuffles about with that same expression on his face. You will look after him, won't you, Commander? And treat him with every kindness? He's still in there, I know it. Beneath the anguish and the despair, he's still fighting with all his heart. He deserves to be given that chance, until he comes back to us. Until we know for certain what has become of him. Ah, yeah, you needn't worry. If he hadn't risked his neck to warn us and help you secure the better part of the crystals, this could have turned out a damn sight worse than it did. We'll not soon forget that, nor will Maelstrom Command. I'm so sorry, Gabu. I truly am. You should never have been made to. And I know I cannot possibly understand. Mayhap there is nothing I can do or say. The pain, the anger, the helplessness. Hold fast to the memories of better times. Remember them as they were. And when it hurts so much your heart feels fit to burst, let it burst. Let it burst and fill up again with your love for them. And never, ever forget. Alice may be speaking from experience. Come along, little one. We don't exactly know what she experienced during her travels after Bahamut, but it sounds like she went on a journey. I will remember them. And you, Alice. Thank you. Strange combination of shock and primal influence, but it seems like he's still in there. Have faith, sister. Your words have reached him. In time he will recover. And those who orchestrated these events will be made to answer for their crimes. A 1,000 times over, there will be a reckoning. It would just be too sad if you let the player playing this patch. We're going this way. Waking Sands, right. Yeah, I guess they end the whole arc that way. Still kind of on a cliffhanger, but still. On a good note, kind of. Because it would just be too sad if they let the player get through the patch and then, at the point where they have to wait several months for the next patch, if they didn't at least give you some silver lining, ray of hope or something, it'd be way too depressing to see that kobold child just kind of catatonic almost. We have heard the glad tidings from Ogamoro, my friends. By the grace of the 12 and your most valiant efforts, the people of Limsa may rest easy. I forget what voice this was, even though I should know this, like, obviously. Whatever. I'll just give him whatever voice, and then we'll hear him speak again and I'll try to adjust. Not that I'm ever going to be anywhere close to any of these actual voice actors' voices. Just want to at least go for the same, I don't know, feel? Something like that. I should think so, yes. Though we failed to prevent the Lord of Crags from manifesting, we did succeed in weakening him, enabling our friend to dispatch him before the Warriors of Darkness could make matters worse. It was by no means an unmitigated success, but it will have to suffice. Let us speak of another matter, one which weighs heavy on my lady's mind. As thou didst request, a lot of ye olde English that I have to pronounce properly. As thou didst request, I sought out the Garen oracles, that we may better understand the aims of the Warriors of Darkness. Though their copious use of allegory defies any single interpretation, the oracles paint a most disturbing picture, one of worlds parallel to our own, apart yet linked, reduced to ruin with every umbral calamity. 7 times they have succeeded. Then of 10 and 3, only 6 worlds remain. Aye, all is as my lady Minfilia spake unto thee. Again, ye olde English trips me up every time. As for what becometh of these reflections when they in the source are rejoined, frail flesh undone in umbral flames, each soul surrendereth to her call, to flow unto the endless sea, there to endure as one and none. Then if the Warriors of Darkness succeed, everyone in their world will die. In essence, the verse speaketh of the renunciation of the flesh, and subsequent return to the lifestream. However, this fate may yet be preferable to the alternative. For if the first were to fall to transcendent light in the manner of the Warrior of Darkness, warriors of darkness described. It would give way unto a void wherein none may know either life or death. Far better to die, they reason, for in death there is life. The essence of a soul which returneth unto the source may be born anew, saved. Such at least is their belief, I surmise. You seem to know a lot about their beliefs. If that is true, then, gods, no one should ever have to make such a choice. Ere we speak further on this subject, I would share with thee another recent discovery. It would seem that several sizable shipments of crystals have been delivered into the hands of certain Alamegan parties. Alamegans? Strange. And you believe this to be the work of the same Ishgardian smugglers who supplied the beast tribes? I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, and lest thou wonder at their motive, I would remind you that the Scions did once attempt to bring about the summoning of Rhalgr. Is this lore we know? No, wait, it is. That was during A Realm Reborn. The whole thing with, Little Alamigo, that sad story, which I guess ended with the Crystal Braves, where that kid that was getting a second chance at life met an untimely end. The individuals who took receipt of these shipments and refugees, belonging to a group devoted to the cause of Alamegan liberation. No, wait, it's not and. Let's try that again. The individuals who took receipt of these shipments are refugees, belonging to a group devoted to the cause of Alamegan liberation. It may also interest thee to know that their Ishgardian suppliers appear to be none other than the remnants of Aline Ryu's network of spies. It is Ryu, right? That was a proper pronunciation. Surely you jest, and yet it is not so surprising. Bereft of leadership and hunted by the Alliance, I can well imagine such villains being desperate enough to conspire with the Scions, assuming they even know or care who their new employers are. All of which is irrelevant, forgive me. We must seek out the resistance group which received the crystals without delay. Komoy, Elise, will you come with me to Little Alamigo? What's your problem, Elise? He did what you wanted him to do. He read the book. Yes, of course. I should like to hear what they have to say for themselves, firsthand. May you ever walk in the light of the crystal. Alfie Node, Alice, Komoy, are you three listening? Good. I have tidings. The Temple Knights raided the smuggler's warehouse less than an hour ago. A cursory interrogation of the prisoners yielded confirmation that they were in the employ of, and I hope you are sitting down, a man in black robes. Then you have them, and the crystals too. What few remained, regrettably it would seem that they dispatched one final shipment in the hours before we struck. 'Twas bound for Little Alamigo, we are told, where it will be received by the members of a local resistance group. Since Sir Americ's men no longer have need of my services, I have a mind to head that way. As do we, by happy coincidence. We learned of the shipments but a few moments ago. And there I was thinking, I might finally be one step ahead of the Warrior of Light and her little helpers. That's right. You guys are my little helpers. Wait a moment. There's more. And I defy you not to be surprised by this revelation. The leader of the Ishgardian smugglers was formerly in the employ of one Aline Ryu, the infamous Ivy herself. Once again, Thancred, I fear I must inform you that... Thancred, with whom else have you shared this information? About the smugglers, no one. As I think I mentioned, the raid was less than an hour ago. I was planning to contact Y'shtola next, but is there someone else you would have me notify first? No, there isn't. What's wrong with Alice? Maybe she's just disappointed that she's hearing the same information that we already heard from Urianger. After all, it's not new information that Thancred's giving us. Kind of a pointless cutscene, huh? Absolutely nothing going on there. What in the world has gotten into her? It is twice now that we have sought Urianger's aid, and twice she has treated him as if he were a stranger. I don't know, maybe she's just a bitch. No, I can't say that about Alice. The Archon was one of Grandfather's most dedicated pupils, and spent as much time at the Levier estate, as we did. He's practically a member of the family. Truth be told, I struggle to recall a day from my childhood when I did not see the three of them laughing together. If this continues, I may have to raise the matter. Later, though. Little Alamigo awaits. Before we go, though, let's go apologize to Urianger for Alice's uncouth behavior. Pray proceed with all due caution. To what end these refugees covered crystals remain is to be seen. Nothing else to say? Okay. At this point, I'm pretty sure the player is supposed to know what's going on. But, who cares, right? We can just wait. Wait until we actually spell it all out. Still no sign of Thancred. I will get to the bottom of this. Oh, forgive me. It has been a long day. Did you have something to say? Just because it was a long day means it's no excuse to be rude to Urianger, our best friend. Oh, Urianger, I've always struggled to understand what's going on in his head. Now more than ever. Listen, Komoi, if anything should happen, it should be me who. Just know that I am prepared to do what must be done. Right then, to more pressing matters. Since we have no idea when Thancred might arrive, I suggest we see what information we can gather in his absence. Let us pray that someone will be willing to speak with us about the Resistance. So to review, we are reliably informed that members of the Alamegan Resistance operating here have taken receipt of several large shipments of crystals, our task being to ascertain who and why. Given the size of the settlement, I find it hard to believe that anyone here could be wholly unaware of the Resistance's movements. The challenge, of course, will be finding individuals who are both able and willing to share such information with outsiders. It would seem sensible to divide our forces. Komoi, why don't you question the residents of the eastern half of town? Alice will do the same in the west, or Alice and I will do the same in the west. And afterwards we can rendezvous here to share our findings. Alright, I know which way is east. The Resistance, damned if I know. It's not as if I'd be of any use to them. If you set store by all these tall tales of secret weapons, good luck to you. But I'm too old for the mass bedtime stories. This is our lot. It's time we got used to it. Get used to little Alamigo. Yeah. You do that. I see you there, going around asking questions. Look, for the Griffin and his lot, I'll bet. Or looking for the Griffin and his lot, I'll bet. Tripping up a lot today. Well, that's every day, I guess, but still. Seems there is a talk of little Alamigo these days. Folk wondering what he's about, what he's got in store for the Guardians. And what's under that mask of his, of course. Some say he's hardly got a face, what with all the scars. Others reckon he's been marked for death by the Empire, and that they'd send a bloody legion if they knew he was there. Your guess is as good as mine. Ever wear a mask like that? I guess we have, yeah. They're bloody hot. You must have, or have a pretty damn good reason for wearing one all the time. I'd sooner stay indoors. We wear the mask sometimes on this outfit, right? Although it's been a while since we actually used this. We only really used it for the Palace of the Dead. I don't actually plan to really get back into that anytime soon. Now let me guess, come to join the fight, have you? No need to deny it, friend. You're not the first to answer the Griffin's call. While he's lit a fire in every Alamegan's heart, he's also inspired more than a few old dons to pledge themselves to the cause. And little wonder, the Guardians won't stop until we're all under the yoke. The Griffin's the leader we've been waiting for, mark my words. With his help, we'll finally take back our homeland. Alright, this guy's not getting used to little amigo, not like that other guy. He wants to go home. Well, that was easier than expected. There's not a soul here who isn't eager to talk about our masked friends. I suppose I should ask what you learned, but I think I already know. The Griffin. This Griffin seems to be the leader of a newly formed faction within the Resistance, the Masks. Yet despite their growing popularity, no one seems to know much about them. Only that they are the most aggressively militant group to join the movement in recent memory. Indeed, many claim their commitment to the cause of Alamegan liberation is unrivaled. We can but hope their revolutionary fervor is never channeled in the direction of a primal. Though I feel confident that this is the group which received the crystal shipments, we yet lack proof. Before taking any action, I would speak with the settlement's leader to confirm my suspicions, and mayhap enlist his help while I'm about it. Given that you and Gundobald are already acquainted, mayhap it would be best if you took the lead, shall we? We've interacted with Gundobald 2, maybe 3 times. I'm sure he remembers us though, right? The hero remembers us. We did all her side quests. Doesn't seem like she's gonna change her dialogue just yet though, if ever. To hear people speak of him, the Griffin sounds like a man in his middle years. But if that's the case, just what has he been playing at for the past 2 decades? If he's so devoted to the cause, why has he waited until now to do something about it? Unless, of course, he hasn't. Naught would please me more than to be wrong about all this. Much as it pleases me to see you again, Komori, I cannot help but wonder if I should be worried. I hear you and yours have been asking questions. The Griffin. The Griffin? Aye, I know of him. As do we all. He and his masks have become a leading faction within the Resistance. Though there was suspicion at first, given his secretive ways, he quickly proved himself a charismatic and capable commander. Men are drawn to his passion and vision. They truly believe that he has what it takes to lead them to victory. Even I cannot help but admire the man for what he's accomplished. But I have not forgotten Wilred. Yeah, us neither. We may have forgotten his name, I admit, but we haven't forgotten Wilred. I was blind to the danger of his ambitions, and you were not. The Griffin will soon deliver a speech to our people at the sunken temple of Karn. Go and see him with your own eyes. Weigh his words with your own heart. How convenient. 'Tis but a pity Tancred is not here to join us. You two go on ahead. I shall stay behind and wait for him. Whatever could be keeping him, if he's taking the scenic route, leaving us to do all the hard work, I shall treat him to a piece of my mind. Did they update Gundabald's design? I feel like he looked more ridiculous in my memory. He doesn't look as ridiculous as I remember him being, I think. But he does look kind of ridiculous with those huge mitts, so maybe it's just those that I'm remembering. That and the mustache. Men who inspire, or men who can inspire such fervor in their followers, are destined to shape the world. In what manner, however, is not always clear, until it is too late. The young ones were led astray once. Help us ensure that it never happens again, for their sake, and for Wilred's. Should be a shortcut out this way. There we go. Is Babimu still kind of floating a little bit off the ground? No. Babimu is floating a little bit into the ground. That's what I remember. Alfie Node, not really. He's more or less standing level to the ground. He's clipping a little bit, but what can you do? Has it begun already? I hear voices coming from within.
Brothers and sisters, 20 years ago, Alamigo, our home, was claimed by the Garlean Empire. In our haste to overthrow the King of Ruin, we turned a blind eye to our foes in the north. With our glorious revolution, we but laid a path for a new tyrant to succeed the old. And when confronted with our failure, we fled.
Interesting accent on this guy. Makes for a good voice.
Not a day goes by that I do not think of those we left behind. Think of them and feel ashamed. And I know each and every one of you feels the same. We abandoned them, our own flesh and blood, to labor till their backs gave in and their breath gave out, building the twisted steel ramparts which now mar our once majestic mountains. We abandoned them, the brave and true, to fight and die for their country, or worse, to be conscripted and sent off to rob another poor bastard of his home. We abandoned them, the meek and powerless, to bow and scrape when the Garleans pass, to sully themselves that they might live to see another day of misery. The Black Wolf may be dead, but a new Imperial Viceroy reigns in Alamigo now. A beast, not a fraction as merciful. You all know the Eorzean Alliance will do naught to oppose him. For all their promises and platitudes, they will not act if there's no profit in it. Only we can free our brothers and sisters from the Empire's tyranny, my friends. Only we have the courage to stand and fight.
I guess he has a point, considering a lot of the Realm Reborn stuff was just the Eorzean Alliance dealing with their own things locally, not really banding together and fighting back against the Guardians, except for at the very end. It's still a work in progress, the Eorzean Alliance, I guess.
They have imprisoned us, they have enslaved us, and they have murdered us, but no more! blood demands blood, and the Garleans shall pay for every drop they have spilt upon our lands. This I promise you, for we have a power within us, my friends, a power befitting our pride, our righteousness. Only join us, and we shall grant you the means to unleash it, and together we shall see the Alamegan standard raised over the mountains of Gia Arbania once more!
A power befitting their pride. Not at all ominous, that. Wait, is that...
We found him. It was that easy.
What are you two doing here?
They're the last ones we had to find, and we just kind of stumbled across them. Maybe we kind of forgot about them. We'll never tell them, though.
I could ask you the same thing.
Well, this is quite the surprise.
I think Papalimo's voice actor changed. Probably. Like everyone.
If you see what I see, if you feel as I feel...
Might I suggest we continue this conversation in more agreeable surroundings?
For it is not strength of arms that will win this battle, but strength of heart.
That is everyone, right? We got Dankred, we got Ishtola. I don't remember what order we got everyone in. We know where Minfilia is, sort of. And then Ida and Papalimo. There were other people who were scattered by the events of the banquet, even though they weren't at the banquet. Like, Philomene and the other B-ranker Scions and C-ranker Scions and all that, but I think this is everyone now, right? The band's back together. More or less. Of all the places to meet, it has to be fate. Mayhap it is my imagination, but you seem rather more rugged and world-weary than when we last spoke. Words cannot express how glad I am to see you both alive and well. And you, though it was pretty obvious you and Komoy would be fine. The Crystal Braves never had a realistic chance of capturing any of the Scions, divided as they were and distrusted by the better part of Eorzea. But if you truly believe that, forgive me, what exactly have you two been doing all this time? Repaying a favor. After the banquet, we had no choice but to flee Ul'dah, and we would not have been able to do so without the aid of some old friends of the Resistance. I guess we were kind of in the same boat with Ishgard. We were given a place to stay at while things cooled down, and then we did a bunch of work for them without really looking around for the other guys. I guess these two had their own similar adventure. Maybe. I doubt they ended a generations-long war. It seems like they're still working on that. That's right. They smuggled us out of the city and sheltered us in Little Alamigo, all at great risk to themselves. Obviously, we couldn't let that go unacknowledged, so we offered to help them out with their operations for a while. When we learned of the Scion's exoneration, that Lolovito had severed all ties with the Crystal Braves, and that General Raban had been reinstated, we resolved to make contact. But having long since discarded our link pearls as a precautionary measure, our options were rather limited. To make matters more complicated, we were embroiled in a delicate operation at the time, leaving me with little choice but to entrust a letter to the courier. I gather from your puzzled expressions, however, that you never received it. Should have entrusted it to the Moogle delivery service. I'm sure they always deliver perfectly on time with no problems. To be honest, we thought this might happen. While the masks are happy to let the refugees spread the word within the community, they're pretty strict about communicating with outsiders. Oh, and we also heard a rumor that the Griffin doesn't want us meddling in his affairs. The Griffin mistrusts the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, but we're on the same side. Curious, it is well known that we are no friends to Garlemald. One would think the man we saw beseeching all and sundry to join his cause would welcome our support. Ah, I should say that the man you saw was not in fact the Griffin, but an impersonator, and a talented rabble-rouser to boot. It would not surprise me if he were responsible for the majority of these public appearances. So what, they have someone write all his speeches and also give all of his speeches, and the actual Griffin just hangs out somewhere else? As you may have gathered, the Griffin is an extremely cautious and distrusting man, who has made every effort to conceal his identity. Even when we participated in a raid under his direct command, we were not permitted to approach him. It's hard to know what to make of it all. The secrecy, the impersonators, the masks. And the music cuts out for Ida's funny joke. What? It's not as if I'm making all of you wear one, and mine only covers half of my face. It's completely different. Yeah, completely different. Anyway, when we heard the Griffin was due to give a speech, we thought it might be a good opportunity to get a better sense of the man behind the... To get a better sense of the man. What? Now you don't even want to say masks? Are you self-conscious about your mask now? As long as you have nothing to hide from us, you're fine. For all the good it did. And now you have heard the whole of it. But tell me, what prompted you to take an interest in the Griffin? I don't remember. Had we start down this path? Right. Gilmore remembers. Summoning? You're not serious. I can't believe it. The Resistance would never entertain such a ridiculous plan. But the Griffin... Well, the man is an enigma. I cannot say with any confidence that he would or would not do, or what he would and or would not do. What I can say, however, is that the speech we heard today was not the first to make reference to a power capable of defeating the Empire. The masks have made many such claims of late. I confess I had assumed it to be mere bluster, but in the context of the shipments of which you spoke, it is not impossible that they are alluding to a primal. Whatever it is, we'll find out together, and if anyone tries to stop us, they'll answer to me. Indeed, that is, assuming you'll have us. Gotta get the band back together. In retrospect, their tale is not so surprising. We had reason to believe that they had escaped with the aid of the Alamegan refugees, after all. Still, Tatar will be delighted to hear we have been reunited, once we have attended to matters here, of course. What are you looking at, old on-naturalist? We're not going to help you right now. We got bigger fish to fry. Do you honestly think he's planning to liberate Alamigo with the help of a primal? I mean, could he really be that stupid? You and me both, Ida. That's a very clear way to put it. Why would anyone do summoning? They have to be stupid, right? At least from our perspective, it feels that way. You're basically giving away your free will. Or do they not know that? I guess not everyone knows that. If, as you suspect, the Griffin is indeed plotting to summon a primal, we must needs obtain confirmation while there is yet time to act. To that end, I propose we question his double. Given his role as the group's de facto mouthpiece, I should not be surprised if he were one of the Griffin's closest associates. And while he may not be aware of the most sensitive details, he can probably tell us the mass plans in broad strokes. Like the man whom he impersonates, however, he is wary of outsiders. He will not expose himself without a suitable incentive. My plan is as follows. You and Alphinaud will pose as adventurers, fallen on hard times, inspired by his words to take up arms for a noble cause. Nida and I, as members of the Resistance, will recount tales of your past achievements, and testify to your usefulness in the struggles ahead. With our enthusiastic assurances still ringing in his ears, he will decide to welcome you in person, and we will arrange a meeting. You will need to look the part that we might maintain the charade, until we have him cornered at least. Here, these should be enough to purchase suitable garments from Tailbot, and to have him rub a respectable amount of dirt on them for good measure. Any questions? Gotta get the dirt. We pay a lot of gil for this dirt. It all seems simple enough, thank you. And with that, Komoy, let us be off. Tailbot has an assortment of affordable clothing which he sells to the refugees. To summon that sack should more than suffice. And if it and my name are not enough to secure his cooperation, pay him double. I shall see that you are not recompensed. That you are recompensed. If he said that we would not be recompensed, that would be very, very rude of him to say right to our face. Our identities will be revealed, but it can't be helped. We don't have time for a cleverer approach. Is cleverer a word? I guess it must be. I'm sure Ida knows what she's talking about. It just sounds a bit weird, right? Cleverer. But it is real, I'm sure. Yeah, must be. We met the Griffin, kind of. He's right, goddammit. The power to retake our homeland lies within us. We but need to trust in the Griffin to show us the way. Was he in that cutscene? He might have been. Sometimes they pay attention to that sort of thing, what NPCs they put in what cutscenes. Well, don't look at me. You're the one with the sack of gil. You do have the sack of gil, don't you? I thought you had it. Just kidding. You want to buy what? I don't know what you're up to, but I want no part of it. Look at this sack of gil. A heavy leather pouch entrusted to us by Papalymo. Not all problems can be solved with a fistful of gil. For the rest, one must needs resort to a sack. Funny that. Well, you're the ones with the gil, and seen as you're friends of Papalymo. There. Tunic and socks for the both of you, tailored and, treated to your taste. Now off with you, before someone sees us together. Clothes maketh the man, as they say. Right then, I will go and change, and see you at the spot Papalymo marked on our maps. We do actually have to wear it. It's not the kind of cutscene that changes our clothes automatically. The gloves can stay, I think, although do they interfere with our disguise? Leather gloves? Let's put on the pants and see how that looks. Well, obviously the boots are still covering that up, so that's a bit of a problem. I think the boots, yeah, they have that red stripe, which is kind of a clear indication that we're part of the Maelstrom. We don't want that. Oh right, I got these from the Ishgardian Restoration, but those are too fancy. Probably one of these basic ones, the Lalafell ones. I guess. They're dyed like in that one section, those little donuts, they're dyed pink. But we can find pink dye anywhere, right? It doesn't point to us being affluent or anything. Probably not. These are fine. And as for the gloves, yeah, I think they might be a little bit too ritzy. And the ring as well. And also the earring, we could say it's a family heirloom though. A bit too much though, don't you think? Sunstone earrings? Yeah, that's a bit more believable for a family heirloom that isn't all that valuable. Maybe. Maybe those are a bit pricey actually. Valkyrie's earrings of aiming? There's no reason to work on this disguise, I'm just doing it for fun. What about whatever this is? Oh, the donut earring. Is the donut earring? Well, maybe that's just plastic. Yeah, I guess that's not really interfering with the disguise. Doesn't really make us look like adventurers, though, does it? Yeah, these are a bit too fancy for what we're going for, aren't we? If we wore this without... What if we... And again, there's no need to use this, but... If we remove the glamour with our one of our many glamour dispellers, then suddenly that's a lot more believable. It kind of matches our necklace. And yeah, get rid of the gloves. Get rid of the ring. Unless we have like a better ring. Just like a basic weathered ring. Which one is that? Oh, that's just invisible. Well, whatever. That works too. Alright, fine. And that's fine too. And there, our disguise is complete. I didn't have to do all of that, but I did anyway. And I guess since the episode is over, Komoi isn't going to meet up with Alphino just yet. She's going to sit over here and give her disguise one more look over, just to make sure that it's actually perfect, no obvious tells. Now would be a good time to take a break.